Thank you, Harpreet, for being at the BNI podcast. You've been a BNI member for over 3 years now, and you've been thanked for more than £65,000 worth of business. Could you please tell us more about yourself and what led you to BNI?
Yeah, hi Bree, thanks for having me today. So obviously, like you say, my name's Harpreet. I'm the founder of Collective Companion, and I specialise in social media marketing content, copywriting, and I work with a range of businesses at the moment to help them deliver their marketing goals.
Could you please tell us more about your journey and how you got there?
Yeah, so like lots of people, I've got a corporate background. So I worked my way up in my employed roles from a marketing coordinator all the way up to head of marketing. So I've worked in pretty much every role across the marketing space within a business. The majority of my roles have been in-house. So I've got to see all the inner workings inside businesses. And I actually have a communications and marketing degree. A little fun fact actually about me was I studied abroad when I did my degree, so I spent 6 months in Prague, and it was the year where there was a big parliamentary campaign happening in 2010, and it was really interesting to see how that was all being portrayed in the media and things like that. So, so really well-rounded generalist marketing experience. And I guess what led me to where I am today, I actually went to go, I've worked in corporates, large corporates that have been global. They've employed employees around the world. I've worked in small, medium sized businesses. And before I set my business up, I actually went to go work for a local entrepreneur because I thought, wow, I've worked in all the other size businesses. Let me go and see how you start a business. So I went in as head of marketing to help launch some tech platforms that were just being developed. And I think I was actually on an entrepreneur's boot camp because I was then asked, the lady that I was working for actually said, I'm going to go and travel the world. And she said, well, why don't you go and start your own business, Harpreet? And at the time I thought, I've never really thought about doing that, but you know, I spent a bit of time looking into it. I read a quick book, ordered a book off Amazon, read a quick book, How to Go Self-Employed, and I still hadn't made my mind up over a weekend. But once I made my mind up, I was on registering my company, and I thought, do you know what? Don't let the grass grow, and just see what happens. Put yourself out there, and then quite quickly after. I'd set up my initial marketing. I thought, right, I now need to get out and meet people. And that's how I came across BNI. And I actually, another fun fact about me, I actually invited myself to BNI the first time I visited.
Okay.
And it wasn't to the Webber Ellis chapter, it was to another chapter, which was an interesting experience because obviously we, as members, bring visitors into the room.
Yeah. No, I think I just wanted to add, I had a similar experience. So I was the one who invited myself to the BNI. So that was, yeah, I think it's a very shocking experience when you invite yourself and then you're like, oh, you don't know what it's all about.
Yeah.
But
You don't know what you're signing up
yeah,
to almost.
Yeah. But as we all know about give is gain, and if you know, when we are asked which is your favorite core value, we all say building relationships. But apart from building relationships, which is your favorite core value?
So my favourite core value is positive attitude. And I think for me personally, it's because I've been on such a transformational journey, because when I set the business up, I remember quite early on actually being quite cross with myself for doing some gardening on a random Tuesday afternoon. And because I thought I should have been sat at my desk 9 till 5. And I think when you become a business owner, you're either working 24/7 or you have to constantly reinvent what your work schedule looks like. And you know, actually 9 to 5 is normally not what you work. I remember in the early weeks and months I was doing 9 till 9, forgetting to do other stuff, and I was just so focused in on my business. So when I found BNI, I think for me, having positive people around me every week that would lift me up and make me feel inspired and motivated and just reassure me that I was on the right journey with growing my own business. So I think that's really important. I think, you know, if you don't have positive people around you and you can't be a positive influence to other people, then, you know, it could be quite miserable and you might give up. Whereas if you've got that right support, you're more likely to keep going and hopefully have some great success in what you do as well.
Okay.
I think my proudest moments are just being able to see when I work with businesses, they might say to me, well, we've been trying to do this for a long time. And it might be sat in a plan, or it might be an idea in someone's head or in a notebook. But when I come in and I work with them, for me, it's about deliverables. It's about making sure that what they want to do actually becomes a reality. So I think I feel really proud on behalf of my clients and the people, partners that I work with, that I can get the project over the line for them, and they're just they're so happy. Like, I've had feedback before, like, it took us 10 years to do this, but actually the work's been done over a really short period of time. And imagine if they had someone like me earlier, they would have done it 10 years ago, and where could they be now? So yeah.
Outside of work, is there anything that excites you, or do you have any interests just outside of work?
So I've got some stock answers that I always used to say. So I'll give you those first, and then I'll give you what it is now today. So I used to love gardening. Still in my mind, I'm in my garden doing stuff. And I used to play the violin. I love music. I love a bit of karaoke. If people have seen me at the BNI Green Clubs, and it's about having fun, isn't it? But I think over the last 12 months, I have become a mum for the first time. So my priorities have changed. And whilst you're juggling learning how to grow a little human being and grow a business, which I'm lucky that the business is over 3 years old now. So I've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. But for me, my personal goals and I guess focus at the moment is to keep things going forward with business, but also be able to make time that I can enjoy the moments with my baby and make her proud one day as well.
Actually, that was going to be my next question was, do you have any targets that you want to achieve in the next 12 months?
So from my first year, so I've shared these before actually. I set a target for my financial goals that I wanted to achieve, and actually within about 3 months, I realised that I was too ambitious. So I actually halved what my target was for the first year, and once I did that and became more realistic, as I was building up my network and it's getting into the flow of being able to do kind of all the hats as a business owner, I hit that target, and then I actually doubled my business in my second year. Last year, I was hoping to do at least, half of, 50% growth. I didn't quite achieve that last year, my third year. But for me, I think I'm still on that growth journey. And so I'm monitoring that closely, but I'm also hoping to develop my own platform and launch that as well over the next 12 months, which I'm really excited about. It kind of brings together all of the stuff that I like to do, being a problem solver, innovating, helping other people, but also experimenting with technologies and doing content, which is what I do day in, day out. So I'm really excited to be able to share more about that when that comes to fruition.
Okay, no,
and this podcast can keep me accountable as well.
No, you're a mom, you're running your business for the last 3 years. So what if a newbie or somebody who just came out of employment would ask you this question, that should I start my own business? What would you say to them?
So I always used to wonder before I set my own business up, and again, I'm sure people have heard me say this before, but I always used to think, how did that person do that? How did they set their business up? There must be some magic to it. There must be something that they did to be able to enable them to do that. But actually, it was just them believing in themselves and saying, do you know what, I'm just going to wake up one day and I'm going to do it. And I think you have to take that big scary step, but actually once you're in it, you're doing so much stuff, the scary bit just goes out the window because you've got to work out how to do everything. But I think I'm a big believer that if the opportunity comes along, you should take it with both hands and explore it, and if it's for you, it will work out, and if it doesn't, then at least you can say I've got no regrets and I gave it a go.
So all our listeners, the BNI network, if they could help you with one thing, what that thing would be?
So I mentioned that I've mainly worked in-house in businesses, and I've worked for lots of companies that are in the engineering, manufacturing and technology spaces. So my one ask would be for connections into businesses like that perhaps don't have a very prominent social media or a marketing presence. Lots of clients that I have at the moment are starting out and they want to be able to refine what they're doing. So I can partner with them and help them to do that. And my tagline is that I am a marketing colleague and a companion that they can ask any question to. and work with me like I'm a colleague in their business, not someone that's external telling them you need to do this and I don't care what your ideas are. I work very collaboratively with people, and I want to be able to bring their ideas to life in a creative way, and so that they can captivate their audiences as well.
Yeah. My last and final question. So, could you tell us how BNI has helped you in your personal and professional life?
So I hear a lot of business owners say that it's a lonely place working in business, having your own business, and I feel like I've really plugged that gap with BNI. I have had people to turn to and ask questions about their journeys, and I think one of the positive things for me and benefits is I'm around like-minded people. Perhaps they've been where I was when I was starting out, even where I am now. I can always learn something from someone. And even outside of business, I've made friendships, and they're there for me if I need to have a chat, and I can learn from them as well, their life experience as well.
So thank you all the viewers. This was Harpreet, and she had passed over 160 referrals in the last 3 years. So I would request everybody to connect with her on LinkedIn, and there would be a LinkedIn scanner. Just scan it and go on her LinkedIn and connect with her, book your one-to-one. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Pri. And just so that you can find me on LinkedIn, search for Harpreet Stevenson, the founder of Collective Companion.